to a new episode of Welcome to Puttsville.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that the name of this podcast? Yep, that's the name. Welcome to Puttsville. I'm one of your hosts, Buck.
Yeah, Salty here.
Salty.
Down a man tonight.
Not down a man, but then we have a good backup.
Yeah, we do have a good backup tonight. Yep.
We have with us, we have Nick Green with MacDuff Consulting. Welcome to the podcast, Nick.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Salty. Great to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you.
So Nick I've known Nick for the past 8 years. Can't believe it's been that long.
Right.
8 years. I remember my interview. But yes, no, with Tin Cup.
Extensive interview.
I think the first time we met, was at my interview for Tin Cup, and we talked about RTJ. But that's how I know he was from Tin Cup. But also with MacDuff Consulting, you also help out with a lot of other golf companies.
I try. Yeah, I wear a couple of hats. You know me through MacDuff Consulting, which is it's my firm. We're brought on board early when Tin Cup launched. Goodness, that's been 13 years ago, something like that we launched it at the golf show in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do a few things with MacDuff. We do business consulting, we do strategy, and we do communications. So I was brought on to help launch Tin Cup. And now, of course, you run Tin Cup, and I'm still a tiny part of it. And I bug you now and again for things and get an update on what's going on. And then I help various other clients, predominantly launching. Actually, Salty's event that's coming up is going to be using one of the brands that I help, which is Penfold Golf. We relaunched Penfold Golf, which is an old British company founded in 1927. So coming up for 100 years. Anything lasts 100 years has got to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
it's amazing. I remember my my grandfather played Penfold golf balls.
Well,
and I used to think it was so cool that they came in their own wrapper.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you ever have a wrapped golf ball? It was a thing of great joy.
I have got my dad has a sleeve of those left
Right.
from way back when. So if he ever kicks the bucket, I guess I'll get
You'll
them.
get them?
So
Yeah, amongst the many things.
but yeah, they're pretty cool.
Amongst the
Pretty
many
cool.
things I collect in golf, I collect wrapped golf balls, which is, some would say, rather sad, but there you are. But as a kid, I played wrapped golf balls, and it was quite a thing on the first tee. If it was a proper golf match, you'd unwrap a golf ball and then go play it. They don't do those anymore, sadly, because it's cost prohibitive to do it.
So I just thought that was a Penfold thing. Were other manufacturers wrapping golf balls?
I'll show you. I got some Dunlops here. Here's some Dunlop 65s. There's
65.
Yeah.
There's
cool.
a Dunlop 65
Wow.
wrapped golf ball.
Looks like a chocolate.
Yeah, so you'd unwrap it. I won't unwrap it, but you can unwrap it, and then there's a golf ball, and away you go. These are all, of course, small golf balls too, 1.62 in diameter golf balls, unlike the US ball, 1.68. So at that time, all golf balls were wrapped. This is even up till the mid 70s when I was a kid.
Interesting.
I'm not quite as old as your granddad, but you made me feel old the way you said it.
Right.
Well, I apologize for that.
So we're helping launch Penfold, which has got a whole range of different products, which is going very well. And thank you for the support, Salty, of your event. I think people are going to love those head covers with your logo on.
Yeah,
They look good. They look really good.
So we do that, and then I've helped over the years with you. I see Lee Wybransky's poster behind you at the Masters. I work closely with Lee Wybransky, and here's one we made earlier, and various other companies that you'll be familiar with in golf. I'm kind of the guy in the background trying to help out and give them my knowledge in the distribution arena. So that's the MacDuff hat, and then the progressive sports and entertainment hat. I'm back to my old days of representing players. So we have 8 players on various tours. We have 50-plus hockey players on our books. One just made the NHL draft, which was great. And then we have some entertainment vehicles that we represent in different places. So I got enough to keep me going.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you're keeping busy.
That's right.
Do you prefer one over the other, or are they all just a
That's
joy?
a good question. I have the same stuff to deal with that you do. It just seems a little sexier because it's in golf. But I like the variety. Actually, I was an agent, full-time agent for 12 years on the European NPGA Tour, and it's week in, week out. Even if you've got the right credential, it can be somewhat wearing. Just being out on tour and doing the same thing. So I was out of that for a while for various reasons, and now I'm back in it. And one of our guys, Tristan Lawrence, has been winning, which always makes it more fun. He's won 4 times in the last
17th on the DP. Is that right?
Yeah.
17th
I
on
think
the
he's like 68th or something in the world ranking or something
he's
like
doing
that.
well, something like that. And so
won last week or two
he won
weeks ago
2
or
weeks
something
ago.
like that.
He won the BMW.
Okay.
He's in Scotland right now playing links golf, getting ready for the Scottish Open. And then the week after the Scottish Open, of course, is the Open Championship at Royal Hoylake.
And he's qualified for that.
He's already in
He's
that.
good to go.
Royal Liverpool Hoylake Golf Club.
Cool.
Yeah, he's already in, and my co-owner of the business is over there with him right now. So he's doing the fun stuff of playing golf, and then he's got a couple of weeks on the road.
So let me ask you this: if he's Saturday when he finishes up, if he's in the hunt, you hop a flight over
At the Open? Oh yeah, no, I probably would. I probably would do that. But one of us,
if he's like in contention,
he's already got. One of us is already there, and my co-agent Anders is already there. So whether it would need 2 of us, but it would be. I've never been there and represented a major winner. I've represented major winners because I represented Justin Rose. Of course, he won he won at Marion, but I didn't represent him at that time, which is probably why I won. But
you got lucky. Lucky. Well, how long? Speaking about how long were you with him?
A few years. I've got 20 years on Justin. I think he's 40 something, 42, 43, or something like that. But I grew up at a club in England called Northants, just outside of London, and that's Justin's club. I've known Justin since literally he was not as tall as the flagstick. And so when he chipped in at Birkdale all those years ago, it was at 97. We tried to sign him, didn't sign him, and then ended up signing him a couple of years later, and worked with him for several years, and until he kind of outgrew us, I guess, and got a better offer, which is what happens in the world of sports and agencies. But went about it in the most professional way as you'd expect with Justin, and we're still good friends. I saw him out at LA Country Club and saw him at Memorial, and he's just a great guy.
You got a good Justin Rose golf story for us? Like one we wouldn't have heard about, or that you're even allowed to tell, maybe.
I don't really have it. The thing that's always been fascinating about Justin, he's got, sadly his father passed away. His mother's been a great influence. She's an amazing woman, incredibly well brought up. I don't really have it's hard to say a bad word about Justin, and I wouldn't anyway. But there's no media training. What you see is what you get with Justin. He remembers the MD's name of the company. He remembers to say thank you to the sponsors. He sends thank you notes, and he's a great family guy. There's no edge to him at all. I mean, I'll give you.
You know what I've also noticed about Justin is when he does an interview or he's in contention or whatever, he never says I. He says we a lot. Like it's a team. Like his whole squad. Like we are. We had a really good day, or whatever. It's always
we.
It's a team. It's a team thing.
I mean, it's an individual sport,
which is
but
cool.
It's also a team.
I know, but it's cool to hear him say, Team Rose.
Team Rose is big.
Cool.
We were at. I was with my son last year at the Open Championship at St Andrews, and I was on the range and introduced Justin to Jack, my son, and then I said, "Hey, we're going to come watch you tomorrow morning." And it was, 7:30 in the morning. This is before he withdrew. He withdrew on the 4th hole on the practice round. But we're walking down the first and walking over the little bridge there on the right-hand side to the right of the Swilcan Bridge. And Justin turns around as Jack, and he met him once for 2 seconds and said, "Morning, Jack." And Jack dines out on that. that's the kind of guy that Justin is. He'd remember that, and he's a 16-year-old kid who's in awe of these kinds of people, as we all have been. And he just remembers these things and knows the right thing to say at the right time. It's a great gift he has.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean that's what you want in a tour player. To be friendly, just kind of be just an overall good guy.
Seems genuine.
And it's authentic, right? You've seen it when it's not, and it kind of comes through that like that. But there are some of them out there like Juzzy who it's the real deal.
Mm-hmm. How was the last year going to the Open? How was like the atmosphere? Was it? It was, because you've been there before.
I've been there many times. Yeah, 20 times plus. I mean, the Open at St Andrews is always special because it's the home of golf, and then it was the 150th Open Championship.
We see the flag in the corner.
Yeah, and it was the best stage Open I've ever been at. I've been a lot in terms of what they did, and the presentation. On the Wednesday, they did a kind of champions event. Tiger played in it. It was 4 holes, 1, 2, 17, 18.
Did John Daly play in it?
No, I don't know. I didn't see. I think he probably did. I didn't see. I'm not honestly sure, but I saw Tiger, and all sorts of O'Meara played. I think Justin Leonard, and men and women. I mean, it was just a great event on the Wednesday. And for a major to do that and do a little fun event before is rather unusual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be fun. Like to do that more often. I mean, kind of like the Masters.
Yeah, it's kind of the equivalent of the Masters with the Wednesday par 3.
Yeah, which I've seen the picture. You've posted the picture. You've caddied for the par 3.
I caddied. I still post the same picture every year, Steve. Right? Every Wednesday the Masters. I've seen
it 8 times.
There you go. I caddied for Peril.
All right. So I have a question. I have a question for Nick. So you've been to every major under the sun, numerous times, different courses. What is your favorite major? Not course, but like, is it the Open? Is it the Masters? Is it the U.S. Open? Is it the PGA?
That's a good question. I think there's the general ranking of them, isn't there? Which is Masters, the Open Championship, U.S. Open, PGA all seems to come out last, even though it's not a terrible event by any means. It's a great event. They all have a different feel, a different flavor. My personal favorite is Augusta, is the Masters. They have a major advantage in that they run the same golf tournament every year in the same place. Sure. So they know that the banner was here or the rope stakes were here, and everything's built and stays in place, unlike the traveling circus that has to be created. That's the challenge they had at LACC. There's just no room. So I always enjoy going to Augusta, and if you have the right badge and you can walk the other side of the ropes there and walk through the clubhouse and all those kinds of things. I've represented various players who played, which is always a very special and fun thing, very privileged thing to be able to do. I never forget that. That's for sure. So and I like the Open because I know all the golf courses. I grew up playing golf at those Open Championship venues.
What's your favorite Open course that they play? Because they only do like a certain. I mean, it seems like it's a rotation over there, right? It's not like they're trying to find a new spot to play it at every so often.
They haven't announced when the Open is in 2063 yet. So, like some of the U.S. Opens,
right?
I guess my favorite is St Andrews. I was at university in Scotland and got to play it quite a bit. And it's a very special place. Teeing up on the first tee there and walking over the bridge at the end. It's not a particularly hard golf course for average players, unless the wind gets up. But I love the old course. I also love not very popular one is Troon. I love Royal Troon. It's not the prettiest golf course because it has an airfield. Prestwick Airfield is literally next door, and the aircraft go right across the top of you. But it's a great golf course.
Wow. Yeah. Well, speaking about great golf courses, you've obviously played a lot of courses. You get to, what makes, in your opinion, what makes a great golf course?
Good question.
What makes a good golf course? I mean, there's so many factors. I've played a lot over here, but I think I'm probably more familiar with what makes a good British golf course than a US golf course. I like simplicity is a key factor for me.
Yep.
Simplicity and authenticity. I don't need somebody taking my clubs. I don't need a cold towel on the fourth hole, or M&Ms in the locker room or anything. I'm focused on the golf course. Does the golf course move in a different direction? Is there a good variety of places to play for different handicaps? What's the conditioning like? And again, I'm not stuck on green. It doesn't. Some of the best golf courses in the world are brown, and I grew up playing a brown golf course where we didn't have a watering system, so it was brown 4 or 5 months of the year. And as you'll see with Hoylake in a couple of weeks, it's going to be the same. It's going to be rock hard, and it's going to be obviously sand-based turf. And so there's various things, but I'm not big on I don't really care about the service levels. That's not any factor for me. I like good golf holes, and that could be a links golf course, or it could be something inland, like something majestic like Chicago Golf Club, or National Golf Links of America, something along those lines, where there's a distinct look and feel to the golf course, which has generally speaking, come from one of the great architects, Rayner or C.B. McDonald or somebody like Ross, and hasn't been messed about with too much.
Yeah. So like over across the pond, as they say.
They do say that.
As they say. As the kids say.
Yep. It doesn't seem like when I watch the Open, it doesn't seem like on those golf courses a lot of land was moved like they do over here. Like it's just, this was what the land looked like, and then we made a golf course around.
We cut the grass.
We cut the grass, and this is what the golf course is, which is very exciting to me. Like, I've never played anything that there's not been a lot of land moved to make the undulation or the greens the way they look. Right. And not saying they didn't move the land, but you can tell, like, hey, this was just an open area, and we put a golf course here.
As you know, it's the definition of links land. Links land is the linking of the sea and the land, and that land at some point was under the sea. And so you've got a natural ebb and flow to that land. For one thing, that's one reason. The other reason, when those golf courses were built, they didn't have any machinery. So there was a horse and cart, that's exactly the same for the Golden Age courses here. They didn't have whatever the name of a big JCB is that moves dirt. It was a guy with a horse and buckets trying to move dirt. So you couldn't move 10,000 cubic yards of dirt.
That makes sense. Course is 150 years old.
They didn't have a
bulldozer, right? There wasn't a bulldozer they could just pull out.
So if you play those courses, which have you played over there, Salty? Have you played over there, Steve?
I've been to Cancun, but
yes, just like
the same, right?
So you like the cold towels?
Yeah, love the cold towel and a nice sandwich at the turn.
He got his hair braided at the turn.
Yeah, got my first tattoo there. Right when we got done playing, cost $40.
Yeah, don't expect any of that at St. Andrews. It's,
right. No, I would love to. That would be. I can't even imagine what that would be like to go over there and experience the home of golf.
It's a different deal. You rock up. You're good morning. Your tee time's 10:10. Off you go. That's it. Yeah. Grab your bag and you walk. And there's no sandwich at halftime. No one's bringing. Oh, this is the best peanut butter jelly sandwich in America at the turn, or any of that nonsense. It's just you play golf. And when you finish, you go have a beer.
Right.
And it's about the golf. It's not about all the other stuff. I'm not saying that's bad. That's fine. It's just not my thing.
Right. Sure.
I'm there for the golf, and the golf courses you play, you're going to see ups and downs and lefts and rights, because there's there's only 247 actual real links golf courses technically in the world, out of the whatever courses 30,000 plus.
Wow.
I got a book up there of my thing there about links golf. There's 247 that are classified as real links golf.
I think if I was there playing St. Andrews, I would get so caught up, because I'm a history guy. Love it. I would get so caught up of all the people that have walked the grounds that I'm walking that I would probably shoot a 230.
Yeah,
because I would just be caught up in of all the people that have played that golf course.
Right.
from 150 years ago to today,
Well,
right? I mean,
well,
it was crazy.
it's a
Like I can't even
it's a
imagine
very,
how cool that would be.
and the fairway is double width. You've got you have to hit the biggest hook ever to hit it out of bounds on cross 18 and big slice to hit it right. But it's still a nerve-wracking tee shot, even for 140
Sure.
yard, because of what
I
you
mean,
said, Salty. Everybody's
it's
been
like
there.
being on holy ground. I mean,
It
it's the home of golf. It's like a sanctuary. I mean, it's just you pay your homage when you're there.
The other big difference, of course, is there's a public golf course, right? Anybody
Right.
can go play it. Now, anybody can't just go play Chicago Golf Club or National Golf Links of America. And that's the other huge difference with British golf and American golf, is that you can't just call up the pro at RTJ and say, hey, could I come and play? They're like, no, you can't.
Right.
You can go play at Muirfield. You can go play at St Andrews. You can go play at Royal Liverpool. You just call ahead of time and say, I'm coming, and they'll gladly take your money, which
Right.
is why we have a different fee structure to the one you have over here, because we take in groups of people who essentially supplement the members' payments.
Sure. So what's a round over there cost? If I wanted to go play St. Andrews,
I think it's $350 US. I think it's 250 pounds or something like that. So equivalent
Bargain.
with
I was expecting more.
I was thinking, yeah.
yeah, but you have to get in the
Yeah.
ballot and book ahead and all those kinds of things.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
Muirfield, I think they do a day rate, and it's £300 or £400 or something like that. It's not out of the question.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Is there? I mean, have you played golf in other places in the world, or just mostly just I hear South Africa has great golf courses too.
Australia too.
And
Australia's
Australia.
got really good
It
golf
does.
courses, or maybe not as many, but there's a lot of really nice
A lot
ones.
of good golf. I mean, probably one of the best golf courses in the world is Royal Melbourne. I played Royal Melbourne, and
They get brown too, right? I mean, they get pretty brown out
very
there.
brown,
Australia's
very
golf.
brown. And I've
Yeah.
never seen so many flies in my life. They spray you before you go out. Black flies.
And kangaroos.
Oh wow, yeah, and kangaroos, yeah.
Yeah, and kangaroos. But Royal Melbourne, New South Wales, two of the great. I mean, the sand belt around Melbourne, and is well known for have created some amazing golf course.
Do you have a favorite golf course in the States that you've played?
Cypress Point.
Cypress Point.
Cypress is just obviously everybody knows the finish because of the tee shot on 16 and the back-to-back par 3s 15 and 16. But it's just that you're through the forest, you're in the sand, and you're by the ocean, all in 18 holes. It's a wonderful, wonderful place.
Yeah. Is there any place in the U.S. that you think has done links golf really well?
Well, it's not links golf, but it's plays like links golf, which is Bandon. Pacific Dunes, Bandon. It may be actually classified. I'm not sure, but it seems to be up on a cliff, so I'm not sure how it can be. But it plays like links golf.
You should come to Myrtle Beach and play the Thistle.
Oh, really? Okay. Is that?
That's our closest. That's probably our closest link style, or maybe
True Blue.
No, Moreland over at the Legends would be Moreland and Heathland. Those are kind of link style, like just fairways that go back and forth. And
True Blue is True Blue Strands, Mike Strands.
True Blue is Strands, yeah.
So I'd love to play True Blue. I'm a huge Strands fan. I've played quite a few of his golf courses.
We've got two in our backyard
really?
with Caledonia and True Blue. Yeah,
okay.
You might be coming down next year, so we'll definitely have to
come for the plunder next year, and because we have it our day one's at Caledonia, day two's at True Blue.
Okay,
yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, so if you're a Strands fanatic like we are, or like I am, you really need to. Yeah, your favorite's Tobacco Road.
I love it.
Yeah,
have you done tobacco?
I love tobacco. In fact, I'm going to Pinehurst on Sunday.
Oh yeah, you should. Yeah, you were telling me about this earlier.
So we represent a young man who's playing in the U.S. Adaptive Open, which is being played on Pinehurst number 6, 3-day event for what they call adaptive golfers, which is physically and mentally challenged players. And he's flying over from South Africa. He's extraordinary. His left leg is considerably shorter than his right leg, and over the number of years he's had operations to lengthen his left leg. And all of these men and women have got similar stories to this, where they've overcome some extraordinary, we all look at ourselves in the mirror and think we're having a bad day. It's like, yeah, really? You're not having a bad day compared with what the extraordinary things these people have gone through. And this guy's name is David Watts. He plays off +1. These guys can, and gals too. The girls can play too.
Is he hooked up to one of those carts that has to help him stand up, or is he able to play
he
on
walks.
his own?
He can walk.
He walks. Okay.
But they have players who are hooked up to carts.
And that's amazing.
Absolutely. So I'm taking my son. We're gonna go down. We're actually playing number 2 on Tuesday. But we'll drive, as you do. You drive past Tobacco Road from where I come from, which is always frustrating. You can't turn left in there. Because I love that golf course. Love it.
So much fun. Yeah. We got to go out and play.
It's like third on my list,
really?
But it's for Strant's golf courses. I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you why. And this might not be a popular opinion, but I think that golf course gets easier every time you play it.
I think that's a fair point. Yeah.
I think when you play it the first time, I think that Strant's did a great job of absolutely screwing with your brain off the tee there, thinking you have absolutely no room, and then you get up over the hill and you've got 30 more yards than you think you did as far as width and stuff like that. And I don't know. Caledonia always will be my favorite. Maybe because it's the most different one he's done.
Yeah.
And that the property he used and the land that he used to make that golf course, just right there on the waterway, it's just absolutely stunning.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to playing there. I think it's a very fair comment. I mean, that you get on certain holes and you look at it and you think you've got nowhere to go. I mean, 16 and 17 and 18, of course, it looks like you've got nothing, but you've got 50 yards on each fairway.
I think Strant's kind of like studied under Dye, correct?
Yeah.
From what I've read. And, Dye's good about doing that. Of course, his golf courses are probably some of the hardest ever made, but he's very good at playing with your brain off the tee.
Yeah. I just love it just for the greens. The greens, just
green
to think of.
complexes are ridiculous.
Yeah. Just like, the idea of like, oh, you have to putt into the rough and then let it die. And,
True Blue has very big Tobacco Road vibes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I like the fact you can.
A lot of waist bunkering, a lot of elevated greens, a lot of like hole number 1 is the hardest handicap hole. It plays 620 from the tips.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's Mike Strant's from the very start. So it's a really cool golf course. So and this, like every third hole is a par 3 on the Strant's courses. And that one is a peninsula green. It can play 120 or it can play 165 if they tuck it back left, which is really, really, really fun.
Yeah.
And they leave just enough sand up near the water that you can, if you're ballsy enough and want to go down and play it right on the edge of the water and sand, you can. It's pretty Strancy for sure.
Wrestle a gator.
I just like the fact that you come off, you mentioned it there, Salty, it's fun. You come off and go, that was fun. As opposed to you come off and you're beaten up. I'm never coming back. Whereas you go, come into a par 3 and the flag is tucked somewhere and it's a blind par 3. Now, that's there are plenty of holes in Scotland and Ireland where there's a blind par 3. You're somewhere's a flag and you're looking around. Oh, there it is. And you got to hit a shot over a hill. Why not? Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want 4 of them in a round, but having one of them for me is just fine.
Yeah.
Is there a area in the U.S. that you think, just as a collective, like, has great golf? Like, I mean, Myrtle Beach. I know you haven't played much in Myrtle Beach, or the Pinehurst area, or Arizona, or something like Florida, too. Is there an area that you think that has a lot of good golf courses?
I think you've got to look at where
I don't think he can answer that fairly until he spends a long weekend with us.
Yeah,
well, I guess so. Yeah. As of right now, before we'll get it before and after.
Myrtle Beach.
So this is the before.
I mean, you got to look at the Northeast Corridor because traditionally there was so much money there all the way, Long Island is very, very hard to beat with National Golf Links and Shinnecock and Maidstone, and there is the Creek and Piping. I mean, there's so many good golf courses there because in that golden era there was so much money there, and so they could hire CB McDonald and whoever else they wanted to. Rayner, I mean, Fisher's is there. You just got absolutely off the charts traditional. But again, the challenge with that, it's not very accessible. The three of us can't say, "Hey, let's go for a golf trip on Long Island," because it's all private. So that's a bit of a challenge. But there's areas where there is.
Gotta know someone like Nick to be able to.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like how I made the joke where we walked into the PGA show and the first person that said, "Oh, hey, Salty."
Yeah.
Everyone at the PGA show knows Nick.
I know. It was amazing. I'm glad I know him now.
Yeah.
That was fun. We hit it off right away.
Yeah.
I felt like Nick was a long lost uncle that I never.
I thought you were going to say grandfather again.
Lived over there. Oh no! I already did that once and made you feel real poor. So I didn't want to do that again. I didn't want to shoot my shot twice and upset you. So we'll go with uncle.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
But speaking about PGA,
speaking about uncles
and PGA shows, you've been going for how long to the PGA show?
Oh my God,
too long.
30 years.
Yeah. When was the start date? When did the PGA show start?
We didn't even know that. 60 years or something. In some 50.
Oh, really? That
50
long?
50 years, something in various guises. It didn't used to be that. It used to be
always in Orlando, always in Florida.
I don't even know. I think so, but what didn't used to be 1 million square feet. I mean, it isn't anymore. But it got bigger and then it's gotten smaller again.
That was blown away.
Yeah.
This past year was my first time going, and I couldn't believe. And from what y'all said, like it had been bigger than that.
It had been bigger. I mean, the product life cycles have changed. So the hard goods manufacturers, the golf club and golf bag and accessories manufacturers, that was the launch. So if you had a new golf club 20 years ago, then nobody knew anything about it. It's hard to fathom that there was no internet. But 25 years ago, nobody knew. A few guys had seen it, and everyone's kind of talking about it. And there would be a great unveiling at the PGA show at week 3 of January, traditionally. And then the internet came along and just that messed with everything. Because now everybody knows, there's no secrets. Everyone's showing it. Golf WRX and all these are showing bags of tour players, and this is what's in the bag.
Right.
So the manufacturers essentially said, forget it. We're just going to keep launching product whenever we want to launch it. Not based around a January launch. So new drivers, well, we've all got new drivers coming out whenever, right? They come out in February and they come out in October.
I think TaylorMade's every 90 days. Seems like.
So they don't hold back.
If TaylorMade was true to what they said, I would be hitting the ball 563 yards every time I teed it up. If I was gaining 7 to 11 yards every time I bought a new driver, I would have so many world records.
But over the years, it's turned more into a soft goods show, i.e., predominantly clothing. If you go up that bottom end of it, then it's all clothing. And the manufacturers cut back a lot because it's an expensive thing to do, and most people have already seen it.
I feel like Titleist did not cut back at all.
Who's that?
That's Titleist every year.
Titleist, that booth, I feel like I was walking into heaven. Like I think I actually asked someone, do I need to take my shoes off?
Oh, yeah, it's all the white carpet. Is that the one with the white?
The white carpet and the white jackets. I didn't know if I was allowed to touch anything.
Right.
Yeah, they've always had those white jackets, those guys. But
how much do you think a booth like that cost them to do there?
I mean, probably $1 million. It's less that, to be honest, than it is taking reps off the road and picking up the tab for those hotels and picking up the tabs for steak dinners and all the other things that goes alongside.
Right.
But, they're a $1 billion corporation. It's just a marketing exercise.
Sure.
And they, Titleist is very, very big. Their core consumer are PGA professionals. So that's where they reach all of their people, and the reps have their territories, and they do an amazing job of keeping selling through that channel. So it'll be a an odd day when Titleist is not at that show.
Yeah.
But it's changed.
Because I
It's
remember
changed drastically from what it was, just because of you're not going there and seeing anything. It's fun to come across new product and things that you haven't seen. There's some interesting tech there that doesn't.
But you're right. There was so much clothing.
Yeah.
There's so much
Yeah,
clothing.
it's hard to decipher.
And I had no idea there was that much women's golf clothing. Like, because you don't see that much like in like the PGA Superstore or even your own pro shops. Like,
Right.
But they had tons of women's clothing that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah. Well, the women's game continues to grow. And
Sure.
so you get a lot of women who get together and raise some money and go launch a brand and use that budget. It's the challenge is coming back to year 2, 3, 4, 5 at the show, as opposed to just showing in 1 year.
You know what I hope eventually dies out is these golf shirts that are 99% spandex and they look like body condoms on me. They're just tight.
They're just tight.
They're
so
tight, man. Like I could, like my nipples get hard. I could like cut a circle in a piece of glass. They're so tight.
That's not good for you. That's not a good look.
It's not a good look, man. It's not.
It's not a good look for us looking at you either. It's not. And you feel it from the inside.
We got Putt looking at that,
right? I'd rather play with my shirt off. And I don't even have a belly button anymore.
You're right. Yeah, he's all gone.
It's all
we'll
gone.
be just staring. So at the PGA show, like what you're just saying, like you've seen so many products, and some, they're either there every year or they're once, they're there once or twice and then you never see them again. Is there any product that kind of stands out to you that you're like, oh, that was a great product, or like, ooh, that was like a bad product? And like, where does Shafskins fall on that? Is that to the best product you've ever seen?
Well, Tin Cup won Best in Show, so Tin Cup's still doing right. Well. I don't recall
2010,
13 years later.
I don't recall Shafskin winning Best in Show or actually being shown at the show. Steve, did you put up a 50 by 50 booth and have people in Shafskin jackets?
50 by 50
that would be nice. That's
on my. No, you had to pay for your lighting too.
That's on my vision
the
board
carpet
now.
too. You need a white carpet.
Oh yeah,
zebra carpet
I'll get double.
For you, probably.
I'm gonna go find out what Titleist put in their carpet and do 2 of those under mine. So
one of the fun things is, and you guys are entrepreneurs. You see entrepreneurs who believe in their product, and we don't always believe in it. When we see it, we think it's hokey or whatever. But you got to admire the fact this is, that people will put tens of thousands of dollars into something, going a latest widget, and they think it's going to set the world alight. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. But I mean, as an entrepreneur myself, I admire the fact that they gave it a go. And some will work and some won't. And then you get certain brands. I know the Holderness and Bourne guys very well. And John and Alex launched that brand, I think it's like 8-9 years ago. And now they have a 50-foot booth and 12 reps. And when they started, they literally had 4 shirts and 5 hats. And they're like, hey, well, here we are. I'm John and this is Alex. And there they go. Taking on the mighty Peter Millar. It can be done if you've got the nous and you've got the wherewithal to be able to go do it, and they've done it themselves. And that's a great thing that people can go give it a go at the golf show, and presumably the same in every other industry. But we just know golf,
right? Do you know what's worse than failing?
Not trying at all.
Wondering if it would have not failed.
Absolutely.
Right. You got to go.
You got to go.
Man. You got to go.
You got to go. So
you got to.
Yeah. I always think of the best products at the, and Tin, when I first started working for Tin Cup, it was like my main thing. It was like when I see a product and I go, oh, why didn't I think of that? I feel like those are like just those, or at least stick in my mind, where I was like, just something silly where what's that Fox something where they hold, it's the cell phone holder that
holds the Fox is what it's called.
It's like Fox or something like that, where it's just you put it on the golf cart and it just holds your cell phone, and it's just something very simple. It's like, oh, why is that now why hasn't that come out earlier?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just little things
Well,
like
that's
that.
always
kinda
one of those
make you-
fun. They have that little. I don't know if you saw that, Salty, when you're there. They have a kind of invention room. I don't know what they call it, Steve. Remember what they call it?
Yeah. We went over there.
innovation
Yeah.
in the innovation
Yeah.
area
In
or
the
something like that,
innovation
or
area,
invention
and there's
corner.
all sorts of crazy
Yep.
stuff. And some of it, you go, it's pretty good. And they've spent tens of thousands of dollars on tooling to get to this point.
Mhm.
And if they don't run out of money, this could do something.
Yeah. I saw one guy that was making little metal pieces that you stick on your roller cart to put
Put the rangefinder.
the
on.
rangefinder on.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy was
Essentially, a piece of,
Yeah. What's so funny? You know him? Something? Oh, sorry. How'd it do?
I don't think he listens to the podcast. I haven't heard
Oh.
from him in months.
is that one of yours?
I'm
Is
sorry.
that one of yours, Steve?
That was not on the script. I didn't know
No,
that
it wasn't. That's so funny that you pulled that.
I thought it was a great idea.
I'm not a guy who uses a rangefinder, so I'm not in the market for a piece of metal.
Well,
He's-
I'm a field player too, so I just thought, hey, that might be handy for somebody.
No, it's yeah.
Don't
it's
walk a lot
definitely-
either.
It's definitely you don't walk a lot. that's the main thing. But
I
yeah,
don't
no,
mind walking.
No,
If it's, I'm not like walking barefoot, but I'll walk Caledonia.
yeah. I mean, I'd rather walk Caledonia when it's like I'll walk the whole way instead of like cart paths only.
Yeah, 100%.
But
100%.
Nick, you walk, right? You're
100%.
That's-
100%. If I can
Just do
walk,
that.
I mean, we're playing number 2 next week, and they say, oh, you can ride or whatever. I'm like, why would you ever ride around?
I don't think you can ride number 2.
Why would you ride around number
anymore.
2? I mean,
I mean, I wouldn't, but I used to have some I got customers in Pinehurst, and I'll go up there every once in a while, and I'll eat lunch there, and then I'll go sit on that back patio, and I'll watch some of the worst golf ever played coming into the 18th hole on Pinehurst number 2.
Because the 18th is
It's like it's the worst.
It's the hardest, easy looking golf course on the planet.
Yeah.
You think, oh, this is straightforward.
there's-
You can hit it anyway. You can hit it in the sand and rough, and you can still find the ball. And then, then try and get up and down from 10 yards. Good luck.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wait, U.S. Opens
Yeah.
Next
there
year.
next year?
Next
Yeah.
year, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good to see
It's
it
gonna
back
be fun.
Yeah.
All right, so this wouldn't be a golf podcast if we didn't talk about live golf a little bit.
Oh, I haven't heard of that. What is that?
Oh, okay. Well,
Live it,
Live it
live
golf.
it, live it,
live it golf, live golf, live
Live
golf.
golf. Yeah. Well,
What's your 30-second take on it?
I know what's going to happen about as much as you do. I was as much in the dark when it was launched as everybody else, and I've got people
Sure.
who've got a pretty good clue into what's been going on. Nobody knows. I think it can go any way of several ways, and we all probably got the same conclusion. It can get killed by the DOJ. I mean, that hanging over its head, or that my take is I feel as a Brit, and I see the politics here living in DC, is some kind of political posturing going on. I'm not sure that that's going to work. But it seems clear. And then this recent release of this 300 pages of documents, which I read quite a few of, with Tiger's talking points. Did you see those? It's just mind-blowing. The way it's been mishandled is off the charts. This will be talked about in Harvard Business School as how not to run a business, because it seems like from what you see, the DP World's out of money, the PGA's out of money, the White Knight is coming over the hill with the PIF, Public Investment Fund, to rescue everybody.
Yeah.
But nobody really knows if that's true. But it sure does seem a bit like that. And the fact that they've signed this deal with prejudice, meaning now they can no longer sue each other, they seem pretty clear that they're going to get something done. And that probably will look like the live players coming back to the PGA Tour or the DP World Tour and having to pay some kind of penance in whatever form that takes. I think it probably means there's going to be some kind of team golf on the PGA Tour or the DP World Tour.
And I'm honest with you. I love team golf.
I don't have a problem with it.
I wouldn't mind seeing 2 or 3 or 4 events a year of 2-man events. I think that would be fun. I would love to see I think there's going to be one this year, an event where the LPGA and the PGA Tour do an event together.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah,
I would love to see
or
something
even maybe
like
with
that.
the champions. Maybe it's like the champions.
I just don't know why it has, why it got to this level. Like I don't know. It just seemed like it could have been handled.
Nobody knows why it got to this level because, I went out to the live event at Trump here in DC, and it was very well staged. It was very well run. It was a little funky because we're not used to the noise, but they got on with it. Golf shot after golf shot after golf shot. It's like boom, boom, boom. And my son, who's 16, he's not watching 4 hours of telecast on a Sunday afternoon. Nobody of that age is. They watch YouTube for 15 minutes. That's how he watches a game of football, a game of soccer. I'll wait till the highlights.
The highlights.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to, that everybody wants this young demographic, you're not getting them with NBC telecast stuff full of ads. So something had to give, right?
Ads.
Something had to give.
So many ads. Even though they're playing through. So many
Who
ads.
came up with that? Seriously, playing through. Just
playing through. And the screen goes to this small on the ad.
With no
big.
Commentary.
Yeah.
So you don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
So anyway, in answer to the question, I don't really know. It's a good time to be an agent as a player agent because if you have the right players, whatever tour it is, they're going to need talent.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Whatever format that's going to be. Nothing really, I don't think is going to happen in 24. I think it's going to be 25 onwards, but it's one ungodly mess right now, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Next question for me. Is Tiger Woods done? Do you see him coming back at all?
I see him coming back and playing the odd event, but I'm the biggest Tiger fan there is out there. I love Tiger.
But we're not getting to 18, are we?
No.
Oh,
no. I don't think so. I think it's the talent's still there. He's got more talent in his little finger than most 100%. Of those guys will ever know. I mean, but just his body isn't going to allow it to happen. I mean, he's pulled out of these last couple of majors, and even Augusta's a big, big walk. And I think
is that the hardest walk of the majors? You think?
I mean, it depends on where the other majors are played, but yeah, it's a tough walk, really tough walk.
I almost think he came back a year too early. Like he should have just set out the year. I don't think he was ready to play when he looked like he was hurting at the Masters.
Oh, and it's hard to watch, isn't it? I mean, if it's you or me, we're walking off. He's just got a dogged determination that nobody has had for many, many decades.
Yeah, he might have been mad at whoever missed that putt to get him that made him make the cut. Like, why in the world did you miss that putt? Now I got to play for 36.
No, I think he'd never say it, but he's not going to win. He's not going to equal Jack's record. But I mean, we had our 15th, right? That was the miracle when he won his 15th at Augusta a couple of years ago. That was enough for everybody to say, okay, wow. But
I guess I just hope like maybe he gets in contention like Tom Watson did, one more time, and how cool would that be to see someone win one at 55 or 58?
I agree. I just don't think physically his body can do it.
Right.
I mean, maybe if you get a real, Hoylake, of course, he's not playing at Hoylake, but Hoylake's as flat as you'll see, is as flat as a pancake.
Right.
So that's the kind of golf course where you're moving the ball around, and it's a handsy kind of golf course where you're having to really invent golf shots, which he's got an extraordinary imagination.
Sure.
So maybe, one of those. The thing with Tiger, as we all say, is you never say never. I mean, how,
Sure, that's true.
It's incredible what he's done.
Yeah.
Just be playing in PNCs with Charlie.
I guess.
That's
just as fun for me to watch.
I'll watch that. I mean, if he's swinging a golf club, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think as we wrap it up, throughout the years, you and I have always talked comedies.
Comedies, okay.
comedy movies and my love of comedy, and when I was doing stand up, I would talk to you about it, and just curious on one, just for fun and stuff. Like what are you watching now that like comedy wise? I remember like you mentioned some show a couple weeks, probably like a month or two ago on HBO. You were watching a comedy or something.
What are you into? What are you watching now?
I like, I like on HBO. I like
besides our YouTube channel. What do you like to watch?
Apart from Puttsville, what do I listen to? I like the classics. I mean, on HBO, I'm watching the Successions of this world. I'm watching the dramas rather than I'm watching the comedies. I can't remember which comedy you're talking about, Steve, but I can't remember. I like the classic kind of. I'm a huge Spinal Tap fan.
Yeah,
it doesn't get any better than. I mean, if I was going to choose a top 3 movie outside of the usual Godfather and Field of Dreams and all that kind of jazz, then I would go with Spinal Tap. But I like things like Austin Powers. I like there's that British element, obviously, because I'm a Brit.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of the British version of The Office, which is the original version?
Oh, huge fan. I mean, and Ricky Gervais. I would watch Ricky Gervais reading the phone book. Because Gervais, again,
you can somehow make that funny.
Because Gervais is, politically incorrect, which is my only kind of humor, and in this woke world, I can't do it. And he makes a joke, and there's always an element of truth in all jokes. That's why they're funny. So Gervais, the original Office, it was just absolutely extraordinary. I struggled to follow the US Office, actually, because having seen Gervais do it, it was not.
Just wasn't up to that level.
I don't think it was. And of course, there was only, I don't know, was it 10 episodes of the original Office? And then.
Oh, really? That's it? Just 10 episodes?
Yeah, just 10 of just like the UK.
Is it 10 or 12? Something like that, Steve. But there were very
something
few.
Like that, yeah.
Like episodes, not seasons.
Episodes of the UK Office.
And they were only 26 minutes or something. And then he said, okay, I'm done. I'm stopping, which is the same as Fawlty Towers. You go way back. Fawlty Towers, there's only 12 episodes of Fawlty Towers. And then, whereas over here, they love to get something and just keep on going. It's like know when to stop.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll bury something.
Yeah. Get into.
I'm so sick of remakes.
Yeah.
Everything's a remake.
So many remakes, man.
You're not going to see Barbie?
Well.
No.
Well.
No, but I like. I think I like. Airplane. Obviously, everybody loves Caddyshack, even though Caddyshack's not really a movie; it's just a series of skits.
It's just a sketches
all run together. But if you got some good stuff, let me know on the comedy front. But I'm more into the drama stuff on certainly on HBO.
On HBO, yeah.
Succession was a big hit.
That was.
It was a big hit.
I'm gonna tease it right now because I just finished the script. There will be a Succession Shaftskin video.
God.
The script,
of course, there will be.
Is amazing.
Awesome.
I've read it. I've reread it.
I can't wait to.
I'm hanging on the end of my seat.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this one. Not too many of my videos are like, oh yeah, I'm really excited about this one.
All right.
Well, Uncle Nick, this has been a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, for sure.
Welcome. Come back anytime
Thanks
you want.
Thanks for having us on. I'm coming down to Myrtle. We're going to go play some Strands.
Yes, we'd love to have you, man. We'd absolutely love to have you. We'll take care of the golf. You take care of the dinner. All right, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Because you might be, because there's,
because I can usually get us on for free. So.
If you can get us like really good tickets to that like Myrtle Beach one, that just go with your connections of knowing probably the president of golf and the owner of golf and stuff. Yeah, that would be work. That would work.
Yeah. Dinner's on me.
A lot of fun.
All right, guys.
Nick, thanks so much, buddy.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you, man. All right, buddy.